Hello, I'm Mary Ann Classic Wallace, Director of the Cardiac Rehabilitation Program at Our Lady of Lourdes Medical Center. People often say they want to wait for the right time to start a healthy eating plan. Well, there's no time like the present, especially when you can create heart-healthy meals without feeling deprived. When you use fresh, simple ingredients, you can create a tasty, low-fat, low-sodium meal that you'll find satisfying for you and your whole family. Here are a few tips to keep in mind. Substitute low-sodium broths to intensify the flavor of foods. Use fresh rather than canned ingredients, which are often high in sodium. Include whole grains in your diet. They contain fiber, which can help to lower your cholesterol. It's become much easier these days to find whole grain options in your supermarket. Eat fish at least twice a week. They contain omega-3 fatty acids that lower your risk for heart disease. And choose lean cuts of meat and poultry without the skin. Prepare them with fresh herbs and spices and don't add any extra fat. Now, let me introduce George Cramner, Director of Food and Nutrition at Our Lady of Lourdes Medical Center. George is part of an award-winning team from Lourdes that recently won the Taste of South Jersey culinary competition, beating out area restaurants and hotels. What's on today's Heart Healthy menu, George?
Well, we're back at it again with those recipes that make the folks down the cardiac rehab program so proud. Today, we're going to feature a pan-seared salmon, topped with tomato coulis, and served with fresh sauteed spinach with roasted red peppers. And then just for that nice little touch at the end, we have whole fresh strawberries dipped in dark chocolate. With me, as always, is our esteemed, talented executive chef from Our Lady of Lourdes, John Scullin. Ready to cook?
Ready.
Here we are, back at it again with our executive chef from Our Lady of Lourdes Medical Center, John Scullin. John, point us in the right direction. Where do we go with this meal? Where do we start?
Well, today we're going to start with a pan-seared salmon topped with a tomato coulis sauce, followed by a sauteed spinach with roasted red peppers. So, George, would you start with the salmon? Just sear that on each side for roughly 2 to 3 minutes.
Absolutely.
And then we'll put that in an oven for at 350 for roughly 15, 20 minutes.
Not a problem. What I've done is I've taken a nice piece of pink salmon, salted it with some extra kosher coarse salt, a little bit of black pepper. I've added a little bit of one of the good oils, extra virgin olive oil, which is a source of monosaturated fat, definitely a good oil. Just going to add it, just going to sear it on both sides for 2 minutes or so.
Yeah. And while George does that, I'm going to start with the tomato coulis sauce. And I already have some coulis sauce that was already prepared earlier. So I'm just going to take you through these steps of the coulis sauce. First, we'll start off with our olive oil. You're going to start with roughly 2 to 3 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. And then from this, we would go into our garlic and our onions. And we're going to put this on our stovetop.
Chef.
Right over to the side. On a medium heat. And we're just going to sweat those onions. We're going to let them cook for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to move on from there.
And Chef, I'll watch the sweated onions.
Okay. To start with our, to go with our salmon today, we're going to start with some sauteed spinach. This is just some baby leaf spinach and some roasted red peppers. And what we're going to do first is I'm going to cut up some of these roasted peppers, just coarsely. You don't want to chop them too much. You don't want them fine. Just going to rough cut them. There we go. There we go. And then we'll put these aside. This is definitely a quick entree that you can be prepared when you get home from work. All right, so let's check our sauce.
Onions are sweating slowly.
All right, next we're going to put in our tomato paste. And roughly, we're going to put a half a cup of tomato paste in.
The salmon and fish in general is a great source of antioxidants.
And then we're going to put in our chicken stock, which is roughly 2/3 of a cup of low sodium chicken stock, which is available now in stores. Low sodium chicken, low sodium beef, and vegetable come in. Many of the food stores do offer them now, so you can offer that at home. And we're going to put this in.
Smells great.
Then we're going to put in our thyme, 1 bay leaf. You're going to put roughly a half a teaspoon of thyme in. A little salt and pepper. And we're just going to mix that well.
Okay, Chef, we're coming up on the 2-minute mark.
Okay.
I'm going to stick this down in the oven to finish. There we go. Thank you, sir. And while Chef finishes up the tomato coulis, I'm going to get together some spinach. We have some nice, fresh spinach, rich in iron, that we're going to saute up. Add a little bit of roasted red pepper too.
Our tomato coulis, we're going to need roughly a half a cup of red wine.
Any particular type of red wine?
I prefer Merlot. What do you prefer, George?
That or Burgundy. Either or work for me.
And we're going to put our tomatoes in. Now you're going to lower the temperature, you're going to lower your flame, and just let it simmer. You're going to let this simmer for roughly a half hour.
Slow cook, let the wine reduce.
After it's reduced and it's cooked for roughly a half hour, you're going to take it and put it through a food mill or a food processor if you don't have a food mill at home. Before we do that, you would take out your bay leaf, of course. So we can go through that. George, can you have that picture, please? And I'll show you this.
Food mill, for those that don't have one at home, it's just pretty much a standard colander style sifter that attaches to any food bowl. Has a little lip, little hinge. They're great. You can get them at any kitchen store for $8 to $10.
Yeah, and on the bottom it has several different attachments. So you can, this is for the fine, and then there's also a coarse. So you can set it to whatever you would want it that you're putting through your food mill.
That smells great.
You just put it through. We'll take out our bay leaf. Push this through.
That really smells great.
We'll get everything out. And then we would just...
And this was done for, this takes roughly a half hour to reduce?
Yes, yes.
That smells great.
And then that's...
So we would do this while the salmon was in the oven.
Correct.
Finishing up.
Yeah. And I have a finished product over to the side.
And then put it back into a pot.
Mm-hmm. We would just pour this right back into our pot, and then you can just keep this over, just on the stove until you're ready to serve.
It's nice and smooth mixture.
Nice consistency. And we already have some that we have done.
The end product looks just like this. I'll start on the spinach, Chef.
Okay. So we have our tomato coulis.
John, how do you know when the salmon's done?
You're going to want the salmon to in an internal temperature of at least 145 degrees. What you would take, these stem thermometers are available in various stores, in your kitchen supply stores, and the internal temperature needs to read 145, and then we'll know that it's the proper temperature and we're ready to go.
Yeah. Best $2-3 you can spend is that stem.
It really is. All right, and then we're going to add our roasted red peppers to that. Okay. And put roughly a half a cup of roasted red peppers in with your spinach. Give that a quick saute, just to heat it through. And you have a great side dish that's healthy and colorful. There we go.
That's beautiful. That's done. Just a
All
quick minute or two on a high flame, and we're ready to go.
I'll grab the salmon. You want to?
Yes, sir.
Oh. And there's our salmon. There we go. And I'll bring over the coulis. Let me have this time stretch. There we go. Our plate of salmon.
Plate with just a little bit of cool. Smells great.
And then here's our side. Sauteed spinach. There we go.
It's just that easy, folks. Beautiful dinner within 45 minutes, but you know what makes it complete?
What's that?
Especially in the spirit of heart healthy cooking.
Yes.
A couple of strawberries dipped in chocolate for dessert,
Yes.
which we actually are prepared to do here and now.
There we go. And I will get those for us.
I have some nice dark chocolate shavings. Dark chocolate is a heart healthy chocolate. We have some fruit strawberries that we used in this particular instance. All that we did with the chocolate was take it, double boil it. Just took a regular pan full of hot water. After we added the hot water, we put a second pan in, melted the chocolate. Chocolate took roughly 15-20 minutes to melt. Dipped our strawberries, stuck them in the freezer, and voila. We have our chocolate-covered strawberries as well. It's a
great
perfect
end.
meal in just under an hour, folks.
Perfect end to a good meal.
Chef, another great job.
Thank you. You too.
So, thanks for dining with us. Please, if you would like to see these recipes online, please do not hesitate to visit us at www.lourdesnet.org. Chef, great job.
Thank you.
Folks, enjoy. Bon appetit.